What's up, everybody? 2021 is here. A lot of stuff happening.
Outrageous Fun. Season 3.
What's up, everybody?
What up?
I have a question.
Oh, shoot.
What were you?
I had a question. Was that intro to say 2021 a lot happening?
Yeah.
Wow, this is only this 1 year?
I was just gonna say the same thing.
What the hell?
I was about to be like, when does season 4 technically start?
This has only been 10 months of this?
It feels like fucking 90 months of
Holy
this.
shit.
It feels like I'm done.
Wow.
Feels like we're supposed to be done with the show.
Right?
soon. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Good for us.
10 months.
10 months that's exhausting.
I'm just saying a lot of stuff happened, and you said that it's 2021, a lot of stuff happening. It's still crazy. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Good for us.
All right.
What's up, bro?
What up? Miss you.
I miss you too. I have something really quick to share with you.
Sure.
So me and Dylan talked about how we fired our therapist.
Right.
Dr.
Oh, you're
J.
leading with this. Lovely.
Yeah. Real. It's because it's so quick. I haven't told you yet. I just got to get it off my chest. So I forgot that. So I had started the process of firing him, but basically he was like, I'm going away for like the next month and
You
a
even
half.
ghost your therapist, don't you?
I ghost everybody. It's way easier that way at first. But so I was like, he was like, I'm going to be away. Like, we have to schedule an appointment. I was like, you know what? We'll wait till you come back in a month and a half. And he scheduled an appointment for when he came back. I didn't know. So all of a sudden, Wednesday comes around, a month and a half later, I think I got rid of Dr. John. And then he's calling me, and I have to pay $200 for a fucking session. Here we go. And I'm back in it.
No, you don't, though.
But it was scheduled. I give him that one. So then I told him, I was like, listen, I don't want to do one next week. Maybe the next week after that, because I was like, whatever. Then I'll end it. I was just pushing it off, right?
You didn't want to break up with him?
Didn't want to break up with him. It was just on the phone. I'm not trying to do it on the
Frankie's
phone.
got strong opinions about Dr. John.
Yeah, the guy's. You're gonna hate him now. I'm gonna end it, but you're gonna hate him.
Grow a pair.
You're gonna hate him, right? So I know I have no balls, 0 balls.
He didn't teach you that.
No, well, this is my point. He's not a good therapist. I should have fucking cojones,
Yeah.
but I have none. He's a pussy. So anyway, I'm a pussy. So anyway, I texted him like basically, actually I'm canceling next week. I'll let you know when I need a session. So I'm really starting the process, and he goes, hold on. This is his
He did the
response.
same. I broke up with him via text also because I couldn't do it over the phone.
That's why I want to read exactly what he said.
Did he at me?
Huh?
Did he?
No, of course he didn't at you.
That's just the narcissist
such
in me.
a
I gotta go back.
conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So like
That's just the
breaking
narcissist
code.
in me. I should go back.
Yeah.
But anyway.
He doesn't bring your name up. So hard to believe there, Big Chief. So he goes, "Hi, Joe," and this is like I'll say it like in his voice. Hi, Joe. When you are ready to schedule an appointment, don't hesitate to check in, and we can search for a time that works for both of us. I do hope you're okay. You are okay. I'm worried about you. That's how he ends it. I'm worried about you. You know what? Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
I was fine. I thought I was good. Shouldn't you ask, like, you've seen, like, I feel great going into this week. Clearly, maybe not. I'm, like, losing my mind a little bit right now.
Right.
But, like,
You're trying to
worried
say how good you are, but you're also breaking a nervous sweat.
I know,
So I'm
I
just
know.
wondering where you're actually
So
at.
my point is, like, either I'm fine and this guy's, like, a really manipulative therapist.
Well, how
which
do you
is-
feel?
I feel like he's a manipulative therapist because I feel great. I feel
Okay.
excellent.
You feel good.
But maybe this got me thinking, am I okay? Is he
Right.
worried about me? Because
Okay.
what did we talk about the last time? I don't remember. I black out post-therapy.
Right.
Like, did I say something alarming? Now I want to know. He wrote me back in, but I'm not doing it.
Well, he did that to me also. He ropes me back in. I'm like, I'm trying to shut it down, man. Like, I'm feeling good. I kept telling him, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm feeling good. Like, I really got nothing to say. And the reason I did it was because I'd be feeling great. I would get on the phone with him. He would make me start bringing up shit that bothers me but doesn't really bother me. And then I would just be fucking angry at the end. And I would just be like, bro, you just took $200 of my dollars, and I feel like dog shit now.
Right.
I'm thinking I'm sitting and I didn't even, it sucked.
And if you're a therapist, if you have a therapy session, you have nothing, like if you had a good week, like nothing bad happened to me
Right.
in the last, well, not really, but nothing bad really happened to me that week. Like what? I got to then be like, yeah, well, I actually had a really good week, but I guess this one thing was kind of annoying. And then you just get angry for nothing.
Yeah.
So
what I was doing was I would do that, and then I'd be like, all right, like I'm aware of this. I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to be able to control it. So I'm going to go into some shit, but then when there's like 10 minutes left, I'm going to start pulling myself out of it, just being like, I know what to do. So it was like I did it that way, and then I was like, okay, I could just do this on my own now. Thanks for all the skills. You actually helped me. You were super helpful. I had a great time. But like we got it, and he was just like, nah.
I got to cut that. I got to cut that because...
Well, he did help me. I mean...
I mean, yeah, he definitely. The only way he helped me, I won't say he didn't, but it was. I could have gotten the same help, really, if I just talked to like a bipartisan human, like someone who just had.
Maybe.
If I just talked to a stranger and said all the things that I said to him, I would have gotten
Did you get something good out of it?
Yeah, I guess, but it was just like I would bitch and moan about like shit, and then he'd be like, "Well, you know, why do you think that happened?" And I'd be like, "Well, obviously, I think this is why it happened." He'd be like, "That seems hard." I'd be like, "That's all you got? I know it's hard. That's what I'm telling you. You got no advice, no nothing.
Right.
You can't give me a little nudge.
He doesn't nudge.
No nudges. He just says he's worried.
I said, yeah, that sucks.
He just dangles a carrot. He's like, here's the cure.
That does
here's
suck.
The cure
I
right
would
here.
say, though,
if you get vaccinated, you could fucking jerk off in New York City public parking lots. Like, what do you fucking
Was he
want
trying to
from me?
get you vaccinated?
Maybe. No. Did I bring up the
He seems like the type of guy that would. I feel like his political
yeah.
side, like, because I was talking to him during like stuff, so like political stuff would come up to me, and then sometimes like I could feel his skew, and I would just be like, "Nah, dude, fuck that."
Yeah, dude,
leave
as a
me
therapist,
alone,
you
bro.
can't be throwing skew around.
Yeah, he was throwing skew.
He threw skew at me one time.
I bet he threw a ton of skew at you.
Oh, tons of skew. I was dripping skew by the end of the combo. That sounded nasty.
Yeah.
But I remember one time I brought up like, it was something about COVID. It was COVID related, but this was in the
Right.
beginning.
Oh,
and
man,
I was just
so
like
bullshit.
venting. It was probably honestly something about like you, or not you, but like the fucking some liberal person giving me shit, and I was my response. And his like
He took the side of the person who was giving you shit.
Yeah, he was just like, well, whoa. COVID is very serious. I was like, I didn't say it's not serious. You're my therapist. You didn't say anything the last 2 months I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you got some shit to say? Some corrective shit? Now you got corrective shit to say? Bitch. Not today.
Right. I'm with that. 100%
Yeah,
I'm with
he's a
that.
bitch ass.
So yeah, like fuck it. I did. I mean, I got something out of it. You got maybe something a little bit
I got
out
a
of
little
it.
something
Whatever
out of it, sure.
whatever happened there. I did have to break up with him via text, and he pulled the same shit on me and was like, I don't think you're ready. Like, you know, people think that they're good, but then they actually have relapses, and like he was texting me all this fucked up shit. And I was just like, my guy, all you had to do was be like, yo, let's set up an appointment 2 months from now.
Right,
and
then you get snuck in.
No, because I was doing it slowly. I was like, I want to stop coming to therapy. What's the procedure? And he was like, oh, like, I don't think you're there yet. I'm like, I am. Let's go every other week. Every other week. And he was like, okay. We started doing every other week. And then I was just like, I'm not fucking feeling this. And I'm like, I don't want to do once a month. But if he did be like, yo, in 2 months from now, give me something to work with.
Right.
Don't be like, you still have problems. I'm like, bro, I'm feeling fucking great.
Right. Don't tell me I got problems.
So I
tell
think
you
that
got
is
problems.
that.
Right.
I think he's trying to keep you in for the cash.
Also, I do one fun aspect of when Dylan thought he was done with therapy was Dylan told me he was done with therapy, and that night we had one of those like post episode like bro outs. You were like on one. And I vividly remember this was my old apartment, and you straight up spoke. Like, we got into the threshold of my apartment, and you spoke until like 1 a.m. And I was like, my guy. It's time. Like,
Says the guy who I got in his car today and told me a story till we got to
that was a fun story.
Right.
This was like, these were sad things.
Oh,
and I was
fuck.
like, and I remember my response was just like, remember an hour ago when you said you were done with Dr. John? You should call him tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe we should call him.
Worked out in the end, though.
But no, I do feel good.
That's great.
I do feel good.
As long as that, even I think as a first therapy thing, maybe you'll need a therapist again, but you find a different one.
I think I need a life coach.
Right.
I need someone to tell me what to do. I don't need someone to like hear my fucking sad bullshit.
Well, as someone who has hired a life coaching, can I chat about that real quick, just to kind of like put some stuff into the world?
Sure.
So I hired a physical therapy business coaching thing.
Okay.
It's fucking lit, and these people just give me. It's called the Honey Badger Project.
Sounds like something the government's working on.
Ha! No, but like honey badgers,
Project Paperclip or whatever.
It's honey badgers have no fear. That's why he picks honey badgers. He sent me a mug,
That is the
and it says
lamest
honey badger don't give a
fucking-
shit.
that
Nah,
is
dude, it's
the-
not lame. It's sick.
I'm telling you,
No, it's not
it's
lame.
the lamest thing I've
It's
ever.
not lame. It's
The
sick.
honey. I like the Honey Badger Project as a name, but the reason for the name makes me feel.
That's what
corny.
honey badgers are. I mean, it's
I'm
definitely
sure
a little
that's
corny.
true.
It's definitely a little corny.
Yeah, it's
But
candy corn.
It's But dude, their whole mission, the project's mission, is to expose and break the healthcare system in America.
Ooh.
So it's like teaching physical
See, it
therapists.
is a government thing. I knew it.
Well, it's an anti-government
That's
thing.
what I'm saying.
It's fucking
That's
sweet.
what I'm saying.
It's like anti-insurance.
Right.
It's all cash-based. It's fucking lit.
Ooh, anti-insurance. Yo, chill. No, fuck health insurance. I'm all for health
Yeah, you don't have
insurance.
health. Yeah.
Health insurance is trash.
Right.
Mine is trash and it's expensive.
So I've been working with them. I'm like generating leads. I took a sales course. Like I'm in it.
Right.
In it. I haven't made any sales yet.
Right.
We were talking about this. But I'm like really starting to find my rhythm a little bit. I had another one today, finding my rhythm a little bit. Spoke with a woman from Lesotho,
What's that?
which I never even heard of before.
Of course you didn't.
I posted the shit on this Facebook group. Like I'm a PT, like I'm doing this thing, blah, blah, reach out if you have questions. And this woman's from Lesotho. I don't even know where it's in South Africa.
Sounds like the capital of like the fucking Epstein Islands. It sounds like
Lesotho. Barcelona. Talked to a lady in South Africa, talked to a lady in Australia, talking to a lady in London. So like people are starting to reach out. It's fucking sweet.
That is sweet.
So things are happening on that front.
That's cool. So life
Stay
coach
tuned
working,
for my first sale, but also this is a life coaching service and they're fucking
intense.
rocking my world.
So that's what I need.
Yeah.
I need someone to be like, you're a pussy, and here's how we fix that.
Right.
Not, oh,
Here are the 10
Katie.
steps to stop being a pussy.
Right. Like, I'm
Yeah.
begging you for them steps. I've been
Yeah.
Googling that once a week for years. And I ain't
Here are
got
the 10
shit.
steps.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's awesome.
It's great.
Though I feel like the problem with you lucked out because you found like a niche life coach. The problem with a life coach is like if you Google
Too broad.
life coach near me, all right, I need to know so much about you to like feel comfortable. Like, what have you done in your life that qualifies you to tell me what to do?
Right.
Are you worth like a bajillion? Because if you're not, I don't really want to hear it. Like, I don't even believe
It is
you.
so
If this is your only income, you already lost me.
Right. It's crazy that how specific it is to what I need.
Right. Yeah,
Where I was
that's
just like,
perfect.
this is a fucking no-brainer. Their life coach, it's like a boot camp. It's like a mental. They talk about like, they always post like motivational shit in the comment section. Like there's different channels on Slack, and one's like just it's like about performance. They posted this thing about Michael Jordan's coach about like so it's like this
Ooh,
whole.
I like that
It's like got
energy.
Gary V vibes, and then also it's like for healthcare workers, but the guy's a physical therapist. So it's perfectly what I need.
It is exactly what you need.
It's exactly what I need. So you need the insurance version.
I
of
need
that.
the insurance version, or really, I just need a general life version. Like, it doesn't need to be insurance specific.
Business related.
Business related, yeah. I feel like when you get into influencers like a Gary Vee or like those types of guys, motivational guys like what's his name, Tom Billy, or those guys, you like hear their voice when you're like trying to pump yourself up, and you like feel like you need that specific person, and you're just constantly you're like, how can I get you're waiting for that person to post like the answer to your exact question online. It's never gonna happen. You just gotta find some dude, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
I have these people, and I like went with a very I had a Q&A this morning, showed up with a very specific
first
question.
name?
Frank Benedetto,
I didn't ask for
New
his last
Jersey
name.
guy. I'll give him the free shout out.
Little guinea
The
of
guy's
this bitch.
he's a New Jersey guy.
Does he have that old school fucking attitude, like a old school
Well,
Italian vibe?
His I don't really get a lot of Italian vibes from him, but his like it's very much just like do the work, no bullshit, let's fucking get shit done.
That seems Italian enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like lasagnas for everybody.
Yeah, that was pitifully racist. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Why don't you go black out, drink a beer, and piss yourself, you Irish piece of shit? Like, that's what you just said. That's what you just said.
That's hilarious though. That was really funny.
Oh man.
Why don't you go salsa dance in the corner, you Puerto Rican?
No, you're not Puerto Rican enough for me to give you like
but I
Puerto
want to be
Rican
so
jokes.
badly.
I know you do.
I know.
you do.
Damn.
You're almost there, man.
Damn Irish.
If your dad was a
Anglo-Saxon
10
features.
You're such a wasp.
So yeah,
That's dope. I like that you got that going on.
I'm in it right now. So in it.
I'm waiting for it to really pour into your personality, like your every day-to-day like conversations I have with you. I'm waiting for that like intensity to come through. Luckily, it hasn't yet. But
No, I
I'm waiting
don't.
for it to
Yeah. I
You're
hope
just
that
gonna
doesn't happen.
identify as like a hard balls to the wall guy. It's gonna be intense to be around. But I'm here.
Honestly, well, I'm feeling it happening, bro. Like this past weekend, I had nothing to do. It was fucking great. We hung out on Friday. Saturday, did
oh my god,
nothing.
we hung out on Friday.
It was great. We had a great
It
time.
was, dude.
Joe finally came to my apartment.
So-
fucking the Blasio and the mandates. My friend can't come hang out with me.
So I finally go to Dylan's godforsaken apartment. So it's an hour and a half drive from where I live now, which was like the first problem
Yeah.
of a few. But Dylan's old apartment, like I would maybe spend 5 to 10 minutes looking for parking. Always found it, and if I couldn't find it, there was parking garages everywhere. It was so easy. It was weird how easy it was. That was Upper East Side. Upper West Side, I show up. I'm expecting the same, if not an easier experience. I was like confident it was going to be way easier. So I'm like, I spent 5 minutes looking, 10 minutes looking. It's like now 15 to 20 minutes later, I call Dilda and I fucking flip out.
I literally was just like, hello? And he was like, there's no fucking spots in this fucking town. And fuck you for making me come here. I was like, here we go.
I was like, we're going to have fun tonight, but I'm never coming back here again. So so Dylan's like, don't worry, I'll get in the car. We'll look. And I went into like 3 different garages, all full.
Yeah.
Every garage is full.
That happened to me too.
It was insane. So I get in the car with Dylan, and we're looking. We drove, 15 blocks on Broadway?
We drove it was 8 blocks.
Okay.
It wasn't that far.
8 to 10 blocks on Broadway. Then we looped back around, went back the other way on the other side, and find a spot. I parked.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939.
Frankie, I can hear that.
Is
that the KGB thing?
Thanks, buddy. I don't know, but that was ridiculous.
It was.
Whatever that was to just hear. I hate a 50s TV voice. It's always a
we're
little.
Here today with that.
Right. So we fucking whip around, and I pull in a spot. I get out. I'm paying mid-pay, and this angel of a man, this brown gentleman, just goes, "Hey, you can't park there. You know that, right?" And I'm just like, now I'm screaming fuck, because now I'm really pissed, because now I'm like, well, there's no spots on this whole street. Holy shit.
I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking out. I'm like, fuck. Get back in the car. The second I get in, the guy's like, wait, no, he's leaving. He's the same guy. He's like, look, he's leaving. I'm like, oh shit. This little ass BMW toy car takes 45 minutes to pull out of this spot. Gets out of the spot, and I pulled off, I think, the most impressive parallel park.
One of the tightest parallel parks in the game.
Dylan,
I was a huge player. I was a huge player in its
huge
completion. Big time getting loud on the streets, giving direction. We were getting centimeters from the car in the back, centimeters from the car in the front, and we fucking skeet.
It was airtight.
Yeah.
It was airtight.
You forgot to tell the part where we finally find the spot after looking for 30 minutes for Joe, 10 minutes for me.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe, he's like, fuck yeah. So we go to the first spot. We go and start backing in. At that exact moment, a man stepped, and Joe has the car in reverse. A man steps off the curb, and an Uber pulls up right in Joe's blind spot pretty much, but also pulled into the spot a little bit. So we couldn't go back, but Joe was already going back, and he was not taking no for an answer. So Joe's just screaming at the top of his lungs. He's like, fucking move, man, move. But he's backing up at the same time, at the guy, and the guy's fight or flight, just standing like a fucking deer in the headlights.
So the Uber pulled up behind me, and the guy who was getting in the Uber opens the door. Now I start backing up.
It was absurd.
It was insane.
For you to start backing up.
No, I started backing up.
They shouldn't have gone there, but I was like, dude, you got to stop backing up.
Well, I was backing up because I was sticking out. So I backed up a little bit. I wasn't going to pull in
you were
while
backing
the door
up
was
because
open.
you were furiously angry.
I was furious, but I wasn't going to back into the spot with the door open. The guy should have backed up. Also, though, he should have just gotten out of the way. It was insane that he went there. It was insane that he just got in the way of the spot while I'm parking.
That's what it was, and you were going to run him over.
His nerdy ass fucking guy. So this nerdy fucking dweeb of a fucking dude with a big ass binder in his hand. I don't know what he was doing, but it was so fucking nerdy. I hated him. So he opens the door. I start backing up. He freaks out, backs away, leaves the door open. Now he won't get in the car. So now it's and I'm screaming at the Uber driver. He's like, the guy won't get in. I'm like, well, fucking move. And then he's like, yeah. And then he starts getting in again. Then he backs away again. I'm like, oh my God.
It was when you're opening the door for someone and they pull the thing at the same time. It was that for
Except
a good
it was
2 minutes
stupid
straight.
Man.
Yeah.
So then we find this spot and I get in with a sick ass park. I sleep over. We time it because it says 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can't park there. So we wake up at 7:30 or we wake up at 7:45. We walk down there. I get there at 7:55, right before 8 o'clock. Parking ticket. Fucking street cleaning that day. 1/2 hour earlier, I would have been golden, and I got a $65 parking ticket.
Sucks.
Oh, it sucked.
Definitely sucks. Hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
Absolutely hate to see it.
Well, we had a great time.
Had a good time. Saturday, had nothing to do. Had the whole day to myself. And I saw I was like, fuck it. I'm going to see a movie. I was walking around. I was like, what should I do today? I'm I'm going to the movie theaters alone. I'm going to be that guy. So I go and see the new Marvel movie, Shang-Chi.
Oh, yeah.
The Asian one.
Snake Eyes? Isn't it called Snake Eyes?
No, I thought it was
I
called
thought it was called Snake Eyes.
Shang-Chi.
Sure.
Yeah, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh.
Dude, started off pretty lit. There was a bus fight scene in the first 5 minutes maybe. And I was like, this is going to be fucking awesome. I don't. Are you gonna see the movie? Can I get some spoilers?
I mean, why would you spoil a random Marvel movie?
Sure.
Is that our goal on the fucking Outrageous Fun podcast? To just drop heat on the Marvel movie?
I will just say,
what are we?
It was dope.
We have an identity crisis going on.
It was dope, but I really thought
like you're about to spoil the ending. I can smell it on your breath.
All right, fine. But for real. The ending?
Just fucking spoil it. I'm not going to watch the shit. I just didn't want you to tell a dumbass plot line.
It just wasn't,
I was trying to cut that shit off the knees.
I think it just got so mythical. Like, it started in a place where I was like,
I'm sorry, we're superheroes not mythical enough for you? I'm sorry.
But
what
dude,
world are we watching here?
It was like
It's
Stranger
not
Things
National
at the end.
Geographic.
It just went from a bus scene.
Well, because you're not versed in the
multiverse. I'm not versed in the multiverse.
That's a you problem, bro. Everybody else is aware of the multiverse.
Well, as an outsider and a consumer, I have an opinion.
No one
cares about it.
You just started doing psychedelics. You can't even fathom the fucking multiverse?
I'm with the multiverse.
Right.
I'm with it. It just came out of nowhere. I'm telling you, it just escalated so quickly. It was like things are so normal. And then the first 10 minutes were an awesome fight scene. And then the last 10 minutes were like, it was like not mythical to the last 10 minutes, and then it got so mythical so fast.
Well, that's how they tie that into like the Avengers. Probably they tie
like
it into
Thor
all the
and
other
Ragnarok, and
so now you're gonna have some big movie, and then Shang-Chi guy is gonna be in it.
Right.
That's
he
how
kicks
they do that.
ass, bro. He was fucking yoked, and he was fucking people up. It was
Dude, a
pretty
strong
sweet.
Asian guy, scariest type of guy. On
Yeah,
the
he took
planet.
and they really hit it well. They put him in like a very basic tee that
And then he
wasn't
just shred
and then
down
his
his
like
back.
shirt got ripped off. I was like, damn, this boy is fucking big.
Yeah, dude, love to see it.
Intimidating looking.
Yeah,
Dude,
there's something about like a strong, jacked Asian guy.
Yeah,
the most unpredictable human being you could possibly imagine.
He was a badass motherfucker.
I think that's on the hierarchy of people I wouldn't fuck with. Jacked Asian guy might be number one.
Any type of Russian wouldn't be fun.
Right. But Russians also, I feel like they have a clumsy factor. Like Asian people don't fall down. Asian people are like cats. They got like 9 lives and they land on their feet. You know what I'm saying? Like Russian guys, I feel like they're big, strong, clumsy sometimes.
Okay.
You can get the clumsy aspect of there. No Asian guy is clumsy. They squat and shit. Like there's no.
They're precise.
They're very, very precise.
All right, you're banking on the. If the one thing you got for the Russian dudes are that they're clumsy, you're pretty fucking clumsy too.
Listen. We're not talking about me. I don't stand a chance against any of these people. But if I'm taking my bets, I think I go with the. I would rather fight against strength than just like. If somebody could kick me 3 times before I even knew I got kicked 1 time, I'm not into that whole shit.
Right. That was what this dude was doing.
Right.
He was like, wow.
Like, you ever see Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
All that crazy shit? Yeah, I'm all set. I'll take the fucking brick hands all day of that icy Russian guy.
That's funny. So real quick, I just want to talk about the state of New York City.
Okay.
Right? So we were hanging out the other day. First of all, Joe clearly had not been in Manhattan in a while because he was like a scared little sheep walking around.
Whoa, with the sheep.
Yeah,
who's the sheep here, Mr. Vaccine?
You hear that?
Who's the
You
sheep?
Scared little
You
sheep.
fucking white boy.
Joe was startled by all the bumps that went in the night. Like a car. Okay.
All right,
we were crossing the
forgetting
street.
we smoked 2 joints prior to crossing that road, and I was saving your life
fine.
in my mind.
Yeah. The car was 100 feet away. And afterwards, I looked at him. He's like, yeah, that car was super far away. I'll realize that. He's like,
Yeah.
I haven't been in New York City in a while. I'm really jumpy right now.
I was very jumpy. I forgot what it was like.
We were in a park, and Joe was like looking around,
Dude,
tweaking
Upper
and
West
shit.
Side was popping the fuck off.
It was.
Well, also in my defense, I haven't seen like New York City homeless people in a minute, and we're baked, and we're walking through this dark ass park at midnight, and on the way in is just a gaggle? I don't know, a group of homeless people.
A gaggle? Dirty Mike and the boys?
Dirty Mike and the boys, and there was literally some homeless woman taking like a dump or something, like she was squatting and shit. And
that homeless
I was like,
woman that
Jesus.
lives there, I just passed her yesterday, and she was singing "Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat" over and over again.
You got to give that girl candy if she's singing that song.
Right.
I would give her candy.
Right. But yeah, so the state of New York, I had Joe over. It was a good time. The other day, we just were in Boston for like 5 days, and we were like in a backyard and in a house, and I'm just like, all right, yeah. Some of my friends are starting to move out of New York City. People are coming back, but I'm really starting to be like, I don't really know how much time I have left in this situation. Like, it's just too tight of quarters, I'm not getting a whole lot out of this experience. Like, I'm starting to think about kind of moving out. But then I was like, I just got here. Like, let me kind of walk around the neighborhood, get a good kind of feel for what's going on. So I think it was maybe Thursday night. Like no one, Emily was out. So I'm walking into the park, and my dad, when they stayed in the Upper West Side in that apartment before I moved in, my dad was like down by the like 72nd Street, like 10 blocks away. There's like a nice pier. You should go check it out. So I was like, I haven't gone and walked down by the water yet. Like it's so close. It's like I could throw it a baseball. So I'm right there. Let me go walk on the water.
Most people say it's a stone.
A stone's throw.
There you go.
Stone's throw. So I'm walking on the river. I'm having like a moment where I'm like, this place is nice. This isn't that bad.
I could stay here.
I could stay here.
Yeah.
Like this is. I'm like, look at the water.
I'll raise my kid for his first 2
my
years
fucking
of life.
apartment's right there. Like this is great. Like I'm walking around. I'm like, oh shit, there's a dock like right here. It was on like I'm on 87th, on 84th. I'm like, this dock is sick. Like I'm gonna go way out in the middle of the water right now. Like I could walk really far out. This is gonna be great. So I go to fucking the entrance. I go to the goddamn entrance, and there's literally 50, 60 New York City rats. I told you the story. 50, 60 fucking rats standing like at the entrance of this pier. Like
and
just
your response
they're in the,
was,
well, then I fucking freak out, and I'm like looking at the rats, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot of fucking rats. I like look to the left, and they're fucking everywhere, dude. There's like, and for a good like 50 feet, I was in like the zoo. It's like I went to the zoo exhibit, and it was like, this is the rat one, and you do a walkthrough. It was crazy.
the real life experience, the rat experience.
And I was like, yo, fuck this city. Oh, I gotta go.
And you did you end up walking through?
I didn't go to the pier. Fuck that. I just kept walking down. Ugh. I couldn't go, dude. It was not
rats
accessible.
in New York City are so large, it doesn't even make any sense.
They were huge.
Doesn't even make sense. Like they look like they should be. Like I remember when I was at Fordham in the Bronx, like you would be walking down the street and like you'd accidentally like tap a garbage bag and like 50 of them would run out of the garbage bag. They were so big it looked like they should be carrying like backpacks to class.
Right.
Like they were humongous rats.
Huge, dude.
Huge. Ooh.
They were too much. And then I'm like, yo, this building right there, to have a 1-bedroom in this apartment, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You come outside your $1 million apartment and there's just fucking a billion rats there.
It's got it.
That sucks.
Because like, in Chicago, there's not a rat problem because like they have the alleys with the garbage and shit. Like they put the garbage in the alley. It's not in the street.
Right.
That's why New York City has such a rat problem. I wonder if like other rich ass cities, like LA is a shithole, but like Dubai, like you think there's rats in those bajillion dollar.
Are there rats in the desert?
That's a good point. Maybe they have fucking, I don't know.
Muskrats?
I don't even know what a muskrat
Meerkats?
is.
I don't know what's in the desert.
I don't know. They might have lizards or some shit. It's like the
Lizards in the desert?
Yeah.
Lizards in the desert?
Yeah. Have you ever watched any nature documentary ever?
I feel like lizards are in the
Depends what kind of lizard you're talking about, bro. You ever see Holes? Remember them lizards? Those
Oh, right.
poisonous ass lizards?
okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was a mythical movie, but whatever. Those are fake ass lizards, but that shit's there.
What were they called?
I don't remember.
With the yellow spots?
So there were the orange ones with the yellow spots. I remember that they used bearded dragons, like real lizards, and I used to have pet bearded dragons. So I remember when that scene would come on, I'd be like, oh, I had those. I had those. Oh shit, those are my pets.
And then one other thing, I was sitting in my apartment the other day and I was watching TV, and you know the song, the Whitney Houston song, so this is love.
Oh, of course.
Nothing. That song?
Sure.
I'm sitting watching TV. I hear a woman start playing a grand piano, singing this song, and it was fucking good. So I paused my TV. I was like, and it also felt like she was inside my apartment. I didn't really have a choice. And she was practicing. I was like, shit, she was belting it, bro. Like if she was singing, she was going as high and loud as you could. Trying out for American Idol in my apartment, in her apartment. So I'm sitting there, I'm listening to it, and there's one part where she just kept practicing. Like she got through the whole song, and it was like a sharp note. And it was like, so this is love, like something like that, but she couldn't quite hit it. She practiced it like 10 times. On the 10th time, I'm like, all right, this is kind of getting old. I hear at the window, shut the fuck up! Like I like jumped. He was in my apartment. We were all in my apartment. It was crazy, but I started like it was so it pierced my soul. And she sung it like one more time and gave up. It was such a
that would be
she
my
was going
response,
10 out of
bro.
10. He was going 10 out of 10.
Dude. Like, that I would respond the same way, dude.
So I'm just looking for a little bit more peace and quiet. I think is what I'm saying. A little bit more peace and quiet. A little bit less rats. A little bit less of that.
Oh my god. And you saw people fucking. You got no privacy in your apartment, bro.
We did through a reflection.
which is wild. You must
Emily
have been
called it
real
out,
hard.
by the way.
Yeah, what is that? Emily just looking. I feel like honestly, if I lived in a New York City apartment, I'd be looking window to window for fucking.
Yeah,
all day.
the guy
Not in
that
a
lives
weird
across
way.
from us
Not
in the
a
back
weird
is
way.
a big round man, and he has a huge belly, and he never has a shirt on. He's always just sitting at his laptop.
Fat guy.
Yeah,
Dude, you got ugly. Is he always naked?
he's always shirtless. I don't know what he's got.
You got
on
ugly
downstairs.
naked guy across the street from you.
Yeah.
You ever see Friends?
Yeah.
Ugly naked guy.
Yeah.
And you got the singing guy. You got all the. This is a New York City.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty New York City.
That's very New York City, which is funny because are you? I'm sorry. Are you still? Do you still have more to that story?
No.
Okay. So you're talking about like trying to leave the city, and
Yeah.
me and Dylan have been recently talking about what we want to do for his bachelor party. Dylan's bachelor party is like so not a city thing ever, like at all.
No.
Dylan wants to go like, outdoorsy shit, shoot guns,
I want to go in the woods.
go in the woods, do some shit like that, manly shit. But then we came to a potential idea of going on an ayahuasca retreat, which I'm really trying to spearhead really hard. Really hard. Where do you go? Like Albuquerque, New Mexico for that
I
shit?
don't know, man.
We
we
should
should
really
hit up
look
that
into it.
alien guy and do a retreat with him.
Dr. Greer,
Yeah.
Stephen Greer. Oh, alien retreat would fuck for it. What if it was like what if nothing happened though?
That would suck.
That would suck.
If the first, what
do
if the first thing he
ayahuasca.
sends to me, he's just like, "You guys, listen. Sometimes you don't see him." I'm like, "Fuck this guy.
I'm
He's
like,
full
we're
of
gonna
shit."
See, we're gonna see something. You're gonna see this dick in a minute. Someone's gonna
Show
see
me
something.
an alien or else.
I'm gonna show you this dick. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Also in New York City the other day, I was walking down the fucking street. Someone like made eye contact with me. Put a very disgusting look on their face, and then put their mask on. I'm like, "Are we still here? We're outside, asshole."
Bro.
I'm like, "What are you doing? I don't care if you have a fucking mask on outside,
Frankie,
for real.
You should
I
hear
don't care.
Frankie's
But
story.
what are you giving me a death glare for?"
Frankie, tell him what happened to you.
Well, I was going through Penn Station, coming home, taking the LIRR, and I just walked into Penn Station. I was going like 15 feet from the entrance into the LIRR area, and me and Sabrina's with me, my girlfriend, and we literally walk in, and there's immediately you just see like 2 NYPD officers with a box of masks, and he's just like, hey, you guys need a mask. You need a mask? I'm like, no, I'm good. Continue walking because I never fucking LIRR.
Is there a
Yes.
mandate in
Yeah,
the city
technically. Correct.
inside?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's federal property.
Oh,
Right?
got it.
There is a mandate. People don't wear it.
There's
I was on the
definitely-
mask today. It's probably a 90% compliance.
Whenever I buy,
That's too high.
Yeah.
It feels.
whenever I buy a LIRR ticket, it's like, there's a $50 fine if you don't have your mask. I have never worn my mask. I've never had a problem. No one has said one word to me. Regardless, this is about 5 o'clock, like rush hour, and walking on. He's like, you need the mask. I'm like, no, I'm good. And then
As a matter of
He's
fact,
like-
fuck you.
he's like, no. And then like they walk towards me and Sabrina, and he's like, no, you need a mask. They're ticketing up ahead. Hands me his box of masks. I'm like, I literally just looked at him. I never stopped walking. We kind of were like fumbling, pretending like we were grabbing our masks. I'm like, no. I literally looked at him. I'm like, I don't believe you. and I just continued walking. And I'm like, there was a bluff. It was a bluff. And it was a bluff. Like no one did anything. But I'm like, fuck you. And I literally screamed. I'm like, we are in Australia. Like this is it. They got the NYPD. That's it.
Frankie's Karening out. He's just making a scene. He's like, I don't want to wear a fucking mask.
Yeah, I was close.
I
to that.
thought I saw you on TikTok.
It is so bizarre. Like, real quick, like it is bizarre. Like Long Island, there is zero. You don't have to wear a mask anywhere. There's maybe you said there's a 90% compliance with the mask mandate. There's probably
On the trains.
on the
Specifically.
trains. Oh,
I'm talking the train specifically.
I'm talking New York City. Is there a mandate in the city in
No.
general? Oh, but like, would you say most people go into a grocery store and wear a mask?
I've seen it go as low as 50% when things were going good.
Oh, really?
When we were more hopeful. We're back up to, I would say, like 75 in the grocery store.
But the cases in New York are down.
I haven't
Right?
heard a peep.
Right. So, what I was gonna say was, it's weird to me
Because
in
we're
Long
wearing the
Island-
masks, Joe.
Oh, really? I think every doctor disagrees. But anyway, so it's weird to me on Long Island. It's probably like a 5% ratio of people, percent of people wearing masks inside. Like you'll see, like if you're in a grocery
5%
store,
inside.
right? If you're in a grocery store, there's 100 people, maybe 5 to 10.
Yeah, man. We just
are
saw that
wearing
Louis C.
masks.
Black joke, and the joke was,
Okay, that wasn't. his
What?
name.
That wasn't Louis C.K.
Louis C. Black.
It's just
Louis
Louis
Black.
Black.
Fuck. Shit,
I was
my
like,
bad.
who are you talking about?
He just had
C. Black.
shit.
Is that like the? Is that
that their-
never mind.
is
That's
that
the
their
black
baby?
version of Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Louis C. Black. That's not funny at all.
He had a joke where there's just two different. Like we used to have political parties that have like discourse, and now we just have two different realities.
Yeah, literally.
And that's Long Island.
It is
and,
weird. Like you have doctors, straight up that'll tell you, the masks. I think it was on the Sanjay Gupta. Did you finish that, by the way?
Yeah.
You'll have a doctor who'll say, yeah, like masks, if you're face to face, sure, it'll prevent. But like if you're in a room, it's aerosol, so eventually it's going to fill up the room anyway. And then you'll have another doctor on the other side who will just completely disagree with that. And
Right.
It just doesn't. There's no common ground.
Right.
It's literally different realities. Literally, it's banana. It drives you crazy.
It's two different. Dude, it's bacon is good for you. Bacon is bad for you. It's eggs eggs are good for you. Eggs are bad for you.
Yeah, eggs is a better.
Eggs is the example.
Eggs are good for you.
but they're sometimes they raise cholesterol.
If you're obese, they're bad for you. If you're obese, everything's bad for you. You should just stop eating for a week. I don't know. Like, things are bad. It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that
we're
is
not
that
arguing about
situation.
eggs right now.
It's
But-
that situation.
Yeah, it is.
It's always been that situation.
But it's not that situation.
Well, it's way worse than eggs.
Way worse.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about
we're talking about lifestyle
science,
choices.
and
yeah.
we're talking about science. Like it's there. If there's science to back things up, you can't say the other side's wrong. You know what I mean? You can't be like,
Yeah,
no,
but what
my
if, dude, they
science
would
is
just
right.
be like,
It's
yo, the masks, they, you know, if they prevent one, if someone would say that wears masks, they would say, if me wearing a mask prevents even 1% less death, then it's worth me wearing.
Sure, and I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem wearing a mask, but I have a problem with.
Oscar for that performance.
It was. I don't have a problem with wearing a mask. If somebody wants me to wear a mask to be comfortable, I have no problem doing that at all. I wear a mask when I have to or whatever. I just have a problem with the fact that, like, there are people who like believe a certain set of facts, and then people who believe another set of facts, and then there's the media whose one side is only perpetuating one side of facts, and the other side's only perpetuating another side of facts. Like
Who do you think is making the sides?
What do you mean?
Who do you think are making the sides? The media is making the sides
course.
that you're describing.
Of course, I know that.
You're talking backwards.
Right, I talked backwards. Sorry, I got. I said it all in one.
Said it all
sentence.
again, but backwards,
All right.
dumbass.
So you want me to repeat it? So there's. Go backwards. But that's what I'm mad at. I don't care about if you want me to wear a mask.
Right.
It's annoying if I was in the city and I was like,
I don't wear
I
it.
don't know.
I go to the pharmacy like during.
yeah,
I
like
don't
I'm
wear
going to Rite Aid and Dwayne Reed and you'd be like, wear a mask. I'd be like, fuck off, dude. There's 6 people in here. I'm good. That's annoying. I would do it, but it's just it's definitely annoying. But I have no problem wearing a mask.
Just getting shade on the. I got shade on the street.
People outdoors,
On the damn street, bro.
Dude, I live in
on the
Long Beach, bro.
streets.
People on the beach wear masks still on the boardwalk, walking down the beach. You're outside. I mean, I'll see older people do it. Anytime an older person's in a mask, I'm like, dude, whatever makes you feel safe, I'm
Right.
cool with. You're older, or even if people in wheelchairs, sometimes they're fatter people. Like, do whatever makes you feel safe. But you're like a fucking mom with her 2 young kids, and you got your kids wearing masks. I want to kick you in the vagina. I really, really do. Like, you're making your 11-year-old kid wear a mask. I want to kick you in the cooch.
Oh my god.
You deserve a coochie kick. You do. You do. Your kid's going to hate you in 20 years because of what you're doing to him right now, and I can't wait. He's going to shoot everyone in school.
Oh
he
my
is.
god.
Tell me he won't. Tell me he won't.
I mean, I hope not,
can't.
but I definitely could. But that was quite a rant.
You
so I'll let
could.
have it.
You could. But that shit I don't get. Like, your kid is fine.
Your
Sorry.
kid is fine.
Like, your kid's fine.
Do we want to get into that right now?
Yeah, fuck it. I really do want to get into it, actually.
So,
If you haven't seen
If you haven't
already,
seen it.
Yeah, Sanjay, I found out is the correct pronunciation of his name,
Sanjay.
and he doesn't even say it right. He says Sanjay. I saw this whole thing, Akash, the flagrant, because he's Indian and Sanjay's Indian, and everybody says Sanjay, and I guess because Sanjay works on CNN as the medical correspondent, he says Sanjay instead of like Sanjay, which is the correct pronunciation, and Akash gets super pissed off because he's like, just say it right, man. It's like, you know how to say it, whatever. But he's like, I don't care if you say it wrong, but if like Indian people say it wrong, it pisses me off. So whatever, Sanjay Gupta, or what? I'm sure that's how you pronounce it.
Sure.
He's the medical correspondent for CNN. He was on Rogan. And the episode, it was 3.5 hours, 3 hours
it was
or so.
I watched it
It was fantastic.
totally the entire way through.
Yeah,
It
watched
was
all the way
such a
through.
great mashing of the medias, really.
Right.
Even though Rogan gets he's not in the likes of how fucking far you can go.
No, Rogan
like he's
is,
with CNN, which is like that's the far, that's
Rogan
the left
is,
side.
Yeah,
Rogan
CNN's
is more
left.
middle, but like where it's kind of CNN positions the whole world and where they position Rogan, it's like he's a fucking lunatic conspiracy theorist.
Which is just
like
not
Alex
true.
Jones.
Like Joe Rogan represents like a rational thinking individual
Right.
thinking person about this whole thing, I would say. I mean, you could consider him right-leaning in this regard, maybe, but that's only because CNN and like the left view is so like
Right.
strict and narrow.
Right.
So that's the only reason that you'd consider him right. But Sanjay, in my opinion, Sanjay Gupta was on that show to like I feel like he went into that whole episode like I'm gonna be the one who's gonna convince Joe Rogan to get vaccinated. Like,
Really? You felt that?
Yeah, and I'll tell
Weird.
you why.
I felt something so different.
I'll tell you why I felt that, because I watched something with Sanjay Gupta talking to like some heavy nurse that lost her job in New York that about like her decision to not get vaccinated. And grant, like I would even say like, lady, you're big, you should get vaccinated. Like even me, I would say that. And he was having this conversation.
We know you would say it.
What does that mean? I would.
You were just kicking ladies in the cooch.
Well, I'm trying to help her. She's heavy. I wanted to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I don't want to kick any lady in the cooch. Just stupid ladies. No, I don't want to kick anybody in the cooch. It was figurative.
Of course.
But anyway, I'll kick you in the cooch. Anyway, I saw him do this whole thing, this like spectacle on fucking CNN with like he's talking to her, and then like they show his interview with her, and like he's peppering her like, why don't you get vaccinated? You're at high risk. I'm looking at you. He basically called her fat and was like, which was fine, whatever.
Gupta was?
Basically, he was just
Really?
like, looking at you, I would say you were a candidate, you were high risk, and you should get
Wow.
that. Like basically said it to her, which is that part I'm fine with. But then
And that's also real?
it's very real. You should be fine. You should be allowed to tell somebody they're unhealthy. That's
Right.
fine.
If you're a doctor.
But, right, and especially a doctor. Maybe not a random person on the street. Like, by the way, you're fat over there. You across the
Make
street.
sure you're vaccinated over there,
You're across the-
fatty.
Yeah,
Fatty.
Just
Get your
double
back.
check. You're fat. Yeah, you don't do that.
Right.
But so then they cut to like, him talking to all the CNN like cronies afterwards, and he's basically shit talking like these people, like there's no talking to him. He's like, listen, I feel like I'm the person. I pride myself. Everybody I talk to, I know that if I could just sit down with them and talk to them, I can get them to get vaccinated. I'm very confident about that.
Really?
And then literally like 4 or 5 days later, he was on Rogan, and I was like, this guy thought he was going to go in there and convince him to get vaccinated. Because then all of CNN would have been tugging off to Gupta, and there was no way that was happening from go.
So
and he
you
asked him, 8 times to get vaccinated?
Right. He
Kept
did.
asking.
He definitely did.
Kept
So
asking.
you really felt the alliance, or allegiance rather, to CNN when he was talking. Like you felt his
Yes.
allegiance.
And I'll also
See,
even
I'll-
second that on
Okay.
top of that. Like there was a point, especially the point where Joe Rogan brought up how CNN was lying about the horse paste shit.
Right.
So he brought that up and he confronted him straight up. He's like, your fucking network is lying
Right.
about this shit. And right there, that like Sanjay had just gotten on kind of a roll about like vaccine shit. And then Joe Rogan kind of cut him off about that. And he was like, wait, we're going like kind of fast. They tried to get back to like having the floor, and Joe Rogan wouldn't give it to him. And he like, that happened a few times
Right.
where I feel like in his head, Sanjay had like this whole string of logic and thinking that he was trying to like bring to this conversation. And like, it's a Rogan podcast, so it's going to go left, right, up, down. Like you don't have control over this conversation,
Right.
bro. Sorry. And like, he was totally derailed by that, and like didn't accomplish his goal. You know
Well,
what
he
I'm saying?
definitely did not accomplish his goal.
No.
I mean,
He got butchered.
he got butchered in
Absolutely
that whole
butchered.
thing.
Yeah.
And he got so butchered. See, my thing with Gupta
His
was
argument was trash.
His argument was
Everything.
trash, honestly. And
was
the whole
trash.
we'll get in the ivermectin thing more in a sec. But I didn't see the allegiance to it. I saw him trying to like, well, he just wrote a book, and I'm like, this guy's a doctor also, so he doesn't
Yeah, but
really.
the book was published through CNN.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying was, I was like, maybe he's like trying to get across to Rogan's platform to start like building his brand because he eventually wants to leave CNN. Because I was kind of seeing it as like, I was like, I feel like this guy wants to say more than he's given. Like there were
Maybe.
times where I was like, he wants to fucking say something right here, but because he works at CNN, he cannot.
Right, but if he really was thinking of breaking away from CNN, he would have said some more shit.
Well, that's
Like,
just
for-
straight up whistleblower shit.
Right, like,
it was a
but-
step, you know.
But so whistleblower shit, perfect word because like when they were talking about the lie about the horse paste, like it was genuinely a lie.
It was. Yeah.
Like I watched like they didn't say like he's taking
also
this drug that's used for. They're saying he's taking horse medication. That's a straight up lie. And when he asked them, he was like, "Yo, why'd they lie?" Sanjay did not give in and be like he never said they lied. He eventually said they shouldn't have said that. He never said yes they lied. He never said,
well, of course
"Oh,
he
that's
didn't
not
say, yeah,
true." Like they did though. And he asked them about it maybe 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, but he agreed with him. He wasn't going to say it himself.
But he was very minimalistic.
Dude, he went on the record. Rogan was like, that CNN went on the air and fucking ran the story, and it's not true, and you know it's not true. And he was like, yeah. But he didn't say it. He didn't admit it himself, but he just agreed to it, which is like still going on the record as
totally. I give him tons of respect for going on the show, period.
Right.
But and you could see in his face, like he fucking knew they were lying. Like he knew
he did.
this shit. Like he even said like, "Oh, they like you, Joe." Like he's like, "Fuck you." No, they don't. You're like, "No, they don't." They shit on him the next day. They shit on him the day before.
Yeah.
Like, come on, don't fucking bullshit me like that. But you were gonna say something?
Did you see though? So that was my interpretation of it, or I was kind of.
I see some of that too. I didn't see like it wasn't.
Dude, in my head, I'm like, all right,
allegiance.
this guy was off. This was something I had was like, this guy was off about marijuana, and like they opened with that, where his stance on marijuana changed, and he realized that he was like only reading studies about like the negative effects.
Well, that's all that they had, right?
Yeah, but it was all that was driven.
Right.
That was all that was like it. There was and then Rogan went in the whole backstory with marijuana and how there was like a massive campaign to like tear it down, and it's the devil's lettuce and
Reefer Madness.
yeah, like
right.
that was a fucking agenda created by. So Gupta fell for it,
right,
and then his science followed those lines until he was like older and realized himself like, oh shit, I'm wrong about this. So then when he was getting clobbered in the certain arguments about like vaccine and my kids talking about kids and that whole thing, I was like, maybe this dude's just fucking off about this too, man.
Right. You could be wrong. That's fine.
Because I was going into that, I was like, this is a mashup of ideas. Like, I'm going to be able to really fucking figure my shit out here.
Right.
And I was like, I still am more on the side of Rogan than I am with Gupta.
Right. And even with Gupta,
and
like,
it's not even close.
No, it's not close. And I do think like his intention, I don't think his intention on as far as the shit he was saying about the vaccine was like lying. I think I
think those are his beliefs.
Right. I think those are his beliefs.
When he was 30 years
old,
old,
help.
when he was 30 years old, he actually thought weed was really bad for you.
Right.
Like he actually thought that.
Right. But the one thing with the weed thing that I'm curious about, because I don't know the timeline, and they mentioned that in the podcast, and I was curious, like, there was a point where the media started slowly, like, entertaining the idea of marijuana not being like a terrible thing for you, and it was the left that
it was right when Cuomo started, touching all those ladies. That was right when
no, that was when New York made it legal.
That was the media.
LA's been legal for years.
Yeah, well, we live in New York.
So
bro.
I'm saying when I'm saying
Andrew Cuomo started getting outed that Andrew Cuomo was touching women. Therefore, the media needed something. They were like, "Wait, weed is actually good for you." And then they were like, "We're still firing your ass." He was like, your boy could have tried.
Could have tried. He's my dick. But the most recent.
I touched the small of a back.
I mean, originally when the science started becoming more public, like I do wonder because Sanjay, I'm sure at the time was still working for CNN. No, when he wrote the retraction paper about marijuana.
I have no clue.
So I'm curious if he was, and if he was just doing that because that was the new narrative that was getting pushed, or if because he found some science or saw some science that made him change his mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he's a doctor for sure, but he is working for a network and has things he can and cannot say in accordance with that network.
100%.
Is he like a practicing doctor like now?
Yeah, he's a neurosurgeon, I believe.
He's something.
Or a neurologist. He is a practicing doctor. But I do think, by the way, like obviously we need doctors to be affiliated with news networks, or at least have, news networks need access to doctors, but like CNN cutting a doctor a paycheck is like one of the worst things I could genuinely imagine.
Yeah, it's not great.
Like it's
quite the conflict of interest.
Quite the conflict of interest. Like how do you believe anything that comes out of people's mouths?
Right.
Well, every news network has a medical correspondent.
I know.
That is a doctor.
That's what I'm saying. That seems like an issue. They should not be paid.
If you notice, they're usually employed by NYU.
Right.
It's an interesting fact.
Well, it's a good school.
No, like NYU Langone, like they're usually a doctor with that hospital branch.
Right.
It's weird.
That is weird.
NYU is a very liberal place.
It is a very liberal place.
And, you know, they're looking for that over there.
The one
They are looking for that.
They are looking for that. One of the bigger topics they were talking about was the vaccine with kids.
Right.
And that, I think, probably is the one thing that left or right is the most thing agreed upon. Like, there are people on the left who don't think you should vaccinate children. I'm pretty certain of that. Rogan being one of those people. He is a left-leaning person. And then there's obviously people who do think you should vaccinate kids. The one thing I didn't understand from Sanjay was he seems more afraid of like what COVID could do to kids like years from now if they get COVID as a kid, like what the long-term effects of that could be. Like he was focusing on that so much.
He was focused on long COVID?
Long-term effects. Like he's like, we don't know what will happen to these kids if they contract this virus. Like I don't want them to get the virus. But like, one, the vaccine doesn't necessarily stop you from getting the virus. That's one thing that's obviously been
They
right,
also
proven.
have don't they have the best immune system? Like,
and
I used to
they
get sick
barely
all the
get
time.
sick. They barely get sick.
Right.
So like it was
You also
weird
don't
to
know
me.
what the vaccine's going to do long term, too.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, wouldn't you rather, like, you're putting the vaccine, you're sort of putting the virus in your system anyway, sort of. You're not with the mRNA really, but like, so I just didn't understand the fear mongering around like the effect that the virus could have on kids when they seem to breeze through the
Right.
fucking illness,
Like
no brain, like no trouble.
Right.
So
So you're really holding on to that, and it's
Like,
like, okay,
right.
can we talk about other? What if they don't? What if there's nothing? They seem to be chilling.
Right. They
Unless
seem to
all of
be
a sudden,
just
like,
fine.
it was dormant in their body for, 20 years, and then it pops on again.
Right.
You know.
But then they'll open up the China investigation anyway.
Exactly. And then
Right.
also it's like, the vaccine, it's like, that could be dormant. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
So what are we talking about here?
Right, exactly.
So, that's where his...
Especially also because they were talking about it, the research around like, and the myocarditis shit was interesting on both sides but like the one class of people was younger people that are affected by that have the side effects on the vaccine.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
older
Sanjay
people
Gupta
don't
was
have-
quoting a thing that was like, it's 16 times more likely that you get myocarditis from from COVID than you do with the vaccine. And I'm pretty sure the study that he was citing, and I don't know what it was because I couldn't see it, but Rogan was like, dude, that's a study of all ages. This study that I'm showing you,
Right.
I'm showing you this, and it's specifically boys ages 12 to 15 who are, this article says that it's 4 to 6 times more likely that they have myocarditis related injury
due to the vaccine
versus getting
hospitalized at all for
any
COVID.
reason with
right,
COVID.
for any reason, which would include myocarditis.
Yeah, and then he was like,
pwned him there
but then he was
too.
like, yeah, but they're not, kids aren't going to the, I think he said, yeah, but these kids, these COVID cases are
He said most of them don't
outpatient.
go to the hospital.
Most
And
of
he
them are
goes-
outpatient. He's like, dude, it says 86% of these had hospital care. And then that also fucks up with the whole
It
narrative
fucked
I
his
just
whole
thought of
shit.
because for weeks they were saying that fucking kids' ICUs were filled to the max.
Bull
and then
fucking- that
and then
is all.
Sanjay Gupta was saying that the kids weren't in the hospital at all. But then it's, maybe they
I don't
are in
believe
the
that.
hospital, but it's vaccine-related injuries. You know
I
what
don't
I mean?
believe that for a second. The kids
Are eggs good for you or eggs bad for you, bro? Seems like they're bad.
seems like they're bad. Also, another fucking lie that he kind of brought up. So the whole horse pace thing. Remember the Rachel Maddow fucking
Oh, yeah.
story where the lie about the ICUs being or the
Right,
emergency
right,
rooms
right,
being
right.
overrun by people overdosing on horse paste. Sanjay brought that up sort of in his
missed
post Rogan interview CNN segment. They were talking about also, by the way, Rogan really quick had only nice things to say about Sanjay afterwards. He wrote a whole thing on his Instagram. I don't know if you saw it. He was
didn't.
like, what a nice guy. I consider him a friend. We had a great discourse.
You felt
was,
that.
Yeah.
It
I
was
totally
very
felt
much
that.
like two dudes with disagreeing opinions,
Right.
having a conversation, trying to find some middle ground, and then eventually agreeing on some shit and disagreeing on other shit.
Right, and then Sanjay gets back on CNN and
yeah.
basically shit talks
No,
him
he
again.
bends the knee,
He
dude.
bent the fucking shit out of the knee.
Did you see what he did with
What
Don
a-
Lemon?
Dude, I have a link to the Don Lemon thing.
Really?
It's abysmal.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Did you guys read his op-ed that he
No,
wrote
but
after?
he put one up before he went on Rogan, like to
After. But he was
Oh,
like
oh,
basically
after
saying
also? I
how
thought he did it before.
he literally like it was his words. He said, like I wasn't sure if this was going to end up in like a true conflict and he was going to come at like basically saying like I don't know, I didn't know if he was going to fight me or like attack me. And like, are you serious?
Oh, and then he
the balls to even like
he's such a pussy.
categorize him like, as if
That's
that's
when I was like, come on, bro. Because
Yeah.
that's why I felt when he was there. I was like, I feel like this man is well intentioned. He has his opinion, But, like,
100%.
he's trying something here. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to find some middle ground. And then he went back. I saw the Don Lemon shit. I'm like, bro.
The Don Lemon and the other one. They were both
You're fucking
terrible. It's like,
soft,
yo,
dude.
you're not even soft. Like, you were telling this guy to his face, you said CNN loves you. You said they didn't lie. And then you said, oh, yeah, they shouldn't have said that. Like, oh, I'll talk to him. Oh, I'll do my research on this, that, and the other thing. I'll try to, like, legitimize your stance, basically, at this network. And then you let these, first of all, they're educated people. They don't know, they're not doctors either. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're reporters. And they're talking bullshit about fucking Joe Rogan. And you just jump right on the train. You're like, yeah, it was 3 hours of that chaos. It was insane.
You had a great time.
Exhausting. Yeah, you loved it, bro.
You loved it.
You fucking loved it. You drank whiskey.
You had a great time, dude. Why are you fucking lying now?
Because it's fucking, that's his paycheck.
That's why the audience hates Joe Rogan. So he has to, like, play that. I've never seen such a demonstration of cuckery. I've never seen such a demo where it's just like, bro,
bent over.
he was being authentic. I felt like he was being his actual self on Rogan. Then he slid back here, and I was like, you are saying these things because of who pays your fucking bills.
And Rogan mentioned that in his little comment. He was just like, you don't understand how little people how little freedom people have to say what they want on a network. So I appreciate him coming onto this forum and doing this. And then he went right back. Like, listen, you don't have to go back and be like, no, Joe Rogan is right about some things, but don't go and shit talk and throw shade and be like a worm about it.
I might be wrong about this, but I thought I saw that Sanjay Gupta did an interview with one of the people on CNN and said that we shouldn't have said that about the ivermectin thing. Like the
on
way
CNN?
Yeah, and then someone rescinded. I thought I saw that, and then I saw the Don Lemon thing.
Well, was it Don Lemon or was it the other one where he was saying no? Oh yeah, the Don Lemon.
I thought there was one before. I didn't watch it, but I saw a headline that I thought that. So, but then I watched the Don Lemon
picture
thing.
Him, and the clip was probably of him on the Rogan podcast because I've seen that headline. It was like him saying it on the Rogan podcast.
But it was the Don Lemon thing, and that Don Lemon thing was crazy.
So, Frankie, can you play the Don Lemon thing real quick?
It's just crazy because
I sent it.
I had hope for a second. I was like, dude, look, fucking these two guys come together.
Yeah.
There's we're starting to have good conversation in
Speaking
that space.
of CNN.
Yeah, that's the I think it's 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Just pop in there and it should start. Full screen, that ass. Nice. First of all, I love these guys.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great. Also, high key, crystal ball, smoke.
Okay.
Wood.
Ready?
Yep. Crystal, if you're listening, what's up?
Let's take a listen.
So very important. I know it's in large part a tongue-in-cheek interview, because it's Joe Rogan and there's you're jockeying back and forth. But he did say something about ivermectin that I think wasn't actually correct about CNN and lying, okay? Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer. I think that's important, and it is not approved for COVID. Correct?
That's right. That's correct. It is not approved for COVID, and you're right. I mean, the FDA even put out a statement saying, basically reminding people, it was a strange sort of message from the FDA, but they said, you're not a horse, you're not a cow, stop taking this stuff, is essentially what they said, referring to ivermectin. Now, I think what Joe's point is... It has
been approved for humans, but not necessarily for
the record,
COVID,
he does
right?
cut him off there.
That's correct. It's been used for a parasitic disease, for something it's called river blindness, and it's been very effective for that. But just because it works for one thing doesn't mean it works for something else. Right. And there's still a few ongoing clinical trials around ivermectin, but for the most part, if you look at the data, there's no evidence that it really works here. When Joe got sick, he took ivermectin.
That is just a lie, first of all. There isn't no evidence.
We'll settle down for the YouTube overlords.
I'm just saying. That is a lie. There is evidence. It is noisy evidence, but there is not no evidence that it works.
Right.
So that's just ridiculous.
You're wrong about weed.
That's not true. Right.
Sanjay.
Also, what I thought was odd with the ivermectin thing was he kept trying to uptick or oversell the side effects of ivermectin when that's been the main
that's definitely
attractive point of it for the other side, which is there's no side effects, so why not try it to see if it works?
Well, that was that video I showed you where they had Dr. Liana, what was her name? Gray? Something like that. This woman who's a doctor on CNN. It was during this time they were talking about ivermectin, and she came on and she was like, Yeah, ivermectin is, and Anderson Cooper's like, it's a horse dewormer medication. So, like, what's going on with that? And she does say, she's like, it is used for, it's been used in humans, but it is a horse dewormer drug. And side effects include, and she said it like she was so clearly reading from something because she said that she was just like reading a list of nausea, vertigo, indigestion. Like she said it in like
you got nauseous for a minute?
Such a weird, and she said even death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even death is always what
That's everyone. We've watched Jeopardy
Right.
and seen the commercials. What happens?
Right.
Every commercial, it's fucking. Here it goes. You want to lower your cholesterol, and then it's just like two older people fucking holding hands on the beach, and then some asshole who needs money to pay their rent is like, this might fucking kill you.
Right, exactly. So why is it okay there?
Yeah.
Come on. If the virus is so dangerous, wouldn't it be worth the risk if that's the last fucking side effect? But, oh my gosh. Man. But also, like, that's what I was going to say. Dude, every single medication that you and I or any human takes, just about, there's an animal form of that medication. Penicillin. Fucking, there's aspirin for fucking dogs. There's opiates for dogs. Any fucking medicine, dogs get sick.
I mean, for the record,
that's
like
the stupidest shit of
just a
all
different
time.
volume. Like
just a
horse,
different
it's a
it's a
concentration.
different volume. It's the it's.
So, like, what a dumb...
It is absolutely like a loophole for Don Lemon to be like, we didn't lie, like it is a horse dewormer. But it's like, dude,
Right.
if you know what's going on and like what they were actually talking about, it was more that you guys obviously painted a certain picture. Like, okay, you did say that it was, some humans take it, but you like very much overplayed and overshadowed all this narrative. Clearly you fucking did that.
Right. Clearly. And you're saying, like,
crazy that
it's only been used for like river blindness and this, that, and the other. Guess what? COVID's been around for 18 months. Of course it hasn't been used for 40 years for COVID. COVID didn't exist.
Yeah.
The argument is, of course you're trying to paint a picture. It's great. It's so silly. So silly.
I thought it was a good interview till I saw that shit, and then I was like, we ain't got no hope.
Oh, the interview was great, but the post...
I had so much
interview
hope after the interview.
Me too.
Because I was like, dude, we can come together, figure this shit out.
But honestly, it's doing... I mean, the CNN audience is going to be the CNN audience.
Yeah, but can't they change, man?
Sure, maybe. But, like, for the most part, most of them won't.
I mean, dude, I think...
So, like, that... Sanjay, like, him doing that on Rogan and then flip-flopping and being a pussy back on CNN, any, like, headway he made with people that were listening to the Rogan and maybe got convinced to get vaccinated or maybe see it a different light or whatever, that was like all just erased. Like you went on Rogan, you seemed like very honest, and then you just cucked out. Like you just lost. All those people who were like, I kind of like Sanjay are just like, fuck that guy. What a douche. You know what I mean? He lost all the momentum he gained. I think. He lost it for me. I mean, I don't think he's a dick. I just think he's a bitch.
I just think...
They're two different things. They're both insults.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't know why they got to do that.
Another thing.
And then I was on, dude, I saw The View. Did you see The View thing?
I mean, Joy Behar might be the dumbest person on the
that's
face
rough.
of the earth.
And
that other bitch, the
lady on the end, I don't even know.
The other black chick.
I have no
I forget
clue.
the one black girl that was in How I Met Your Mother. I forget her name, but she was trying to make some sense.
She was trying to make some sense. So
And she was
basically,
fine.
Joe Behar comes on. She's like, Joe Rogan, grossy, and everyone's like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? That's like the opener.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening right now? What is happening? So then she's like, discussing Joe Rogan is on with Sanjay Gupta and blah, 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 like explains the situation. So they all kind of start going around, and one person was like, it's great that I think that if you listen to it, they really kind of, Joe is a guy that represents, the average Joe American kind of guy. There's a lot. He's the most viewers of any
She calls him very
platform.
intelligent.
He's very intelligent, and everyone's like scoffing as this woman's saying these things, and she's like, it's important that we start kind of leaving our corners and start having these difficult kinds of conversations where our own thoughts are challenged to try and come together. And then the one woman's like, nah, like, fuck that. Like, anything this guy says is, like, dangerous, and he's crazy, and, like, I refuse to, like, go into the world of crazy to try and understand crazy. And then everyone's like, yay! And Joe Bear's like, ah!
And the chick to the
I'm
left
like,
of
what the fuck is this?
It was insane to listen to. And the other chick, I forget, I don't know her fucking name, though, the other black woman, she starts going, no, Joe Rogan's dangerous. He's transphobic. He's homophobic. He's racist. And I'm just listening. I'm like, what are you talking about? Literally at the end of the fucking Gupta interview.
That was crazy.
He goes, I believe in trans. He goes, I'm left leaning, dude. I believe in trans rights, gay rights, women's rights, civil rights. He's like, I grew up a hippie. And like, then this chick is just spewing lie after lie after lie. It's like, what the fuck world are we living in?
Right.
Like, people listen to these idiots.
Right.
Fucking
they were clapping
Joy
at
Behar. What a fucking loser.
So then one of the ladies was like, it's important also that we stop saying things that are comfortable for our audience base and start like having conversations and trying to like understand different audiences, not always trying to just like pertain to my the certain audience.
What a thought.
And then the woman was just like, no, like I don't believe in that at all. And then like I think that's virtue signaling. Right?
Oh, yeah.
What that is?
Well, virtue signaling is like, I'm a good person because I believe these things. Listen to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So the lady, like, whatever the lady was like, we need to have these conversations and stop just saying things that are just like pertaining to our own crowd. Right. You know what I mean? It's like we have that audience base. We're just saying the things that they want to hear. That's not really, what this is about. And then the lady was just like, nah, fuck that. Like Joe Rogan. And then like she did the thing and everyone started clapping at the thing she was saying. I was like, this is wild.
It's crazy.
Wild. Y'all gonna need shrooms at some point to uncross your fucking brains, or you're gonna have a shitty fucking life. I'll tell you that.
Really shitty life.
Honestly, if you don't start changing it the fuck up, you gotta change it up.
Well, because
you gotta change it up,
dude.
We gotta do something different here. You know what I mean?
It was
You want to just
politicized,
live
man.
in fucking misery forever? You want to just assume that 50% of this entire country wants to fucking come to your house and fuck you up and have fistfights with you, and because you're not wearing a mask?
Well, the
That's
thing
not
is,
let's all just love and chill, man.
It's funny because like that side of people would probably say like, the other side, like they hate, like it's both ways, bro. You're throwing first shots too. Like, everybody's throwing
they don't
shots.
even realize
you feel
their
so
shots.
innocent.
It's crazy.
It's insane, and you don't make sense. Like, if you could just back up from anything you're saying and try to like logically go in a circle and make sense, you can't possibly do it.
They've been rushing too hard, which brings me to my next segment. Joe didn't listen to this podcast, but it was with Mike Baker, the CIA dude.
Oh, I didn't listen to that.
So that one was nuts, dude. I listened by myself on the way home from Boston. I was like, this shit is crazy. So, and my mom has told me this before too. She's like, you know what I think is going on? Russia in the 80s said that they were going to they were going to break us up from the inside out. And they've said that they were going to get on there and be so divisive on like through media that they're just going to divide us from the inside out. They're never going to attack us. They're just going to divide us from the inside out. So I had that one. And my mom thinks that all Trump people have been Russianed. But she doesn't think that liberals have been Russianed. I think both have been Russianed.
I would think that's way more likely than just one half of them. Why stop with half the fucking idiots in this country? Why not go for every idiot in this country?
Right. So during the Mike Baker podcast, I think that's his name.
You've been saying Mike Baker all week, so I hope it is.
Okay. So they talk about a Russian defector who in the 80s is speaking to someone. He's a whistleblower. And he's basically explaining like Russia's plan to do this exact thing. And you got to play it because it's this is in like 1982.
Did you send it to Frankie?
I did send it to Frankie.
I'm bugging now. Oh, that's what Frankie was watching before? Oh, this is the guy? I'm fucked. How long is it?
Try and skip to the part where he starts talking.
Is that the
I didn't
reporter
get the time.
guy?
I should have got the time.
Is that the reporter guy?
That's the reporter.
Okay. Oh, there he is. Oh, that guy means business. Those glasses. Okay. Fucking sick. Is he Russian?
Yes.
Fuck.
He's a Russian defector.
Yeah, but I didn't know if he was like a spy and he had a sick English accent or something. I don't know how it works.
The Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion. What do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages.
He's like giggling.
Yeah.
The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized
This was in the 80s.
is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls
in his coochie. A kick in his coochie, as I
mean,
said.
that's pretty much.
I mean, it's
that's
pretty much.
We got
what
Russia'd.
I mean, we
already got Russia'd.
Yeah. What do you think?
We need to raise awareness to the fact that we got Russia.
Why do you think people like Jordan Peterson and a lot of like big thinkers are so petrified about our fucking educational system perpetuating socialist bullshit?
Right.
It's like not a joke, dude. It's for real, for real.
It is for real, for real.
Like we're fucking, dude. You have literally teachers. Like, listen, if you're like innocently pushing socialist ideas because you love the idea of like, you know, not having to work like that and like wanting things handed to you, like that's innocent. Okay, that's still bad, but it's innocent. You have people consciously like reading the Marxist manifesto and shit, like that fucking teacher in L.A. Like those people exist, and that's fucked.
Those people definitely exist.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them. And
people have been radicalized in this
dude,
time.
the educational system is so fucked. What's up? Oh, I thought you were going to impart something.
I was going to hold back. Just
no,
I can't think of any of them being Republicans.
They're you're not allowed to be
liberals.
Well, listen,
Russians?
No, the
socialists.
The socialist. Well, socialist is like a liberal, is a Democrat. It's a left ideology.
Of course, yeah.
And
they're the ones doing the canceling. They're the ones that have no tolerance.
How interesting.
Right.
How interesting is that?
I don't think that makes the other side scot-free by any means, but
no, not
it's
at all. The other side sucks.
Right. But that's it's crazy that like you can see him talking about that, you can see cancel culture.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, you couldn't even dream about what, like that guy's fucking licking his chops probably, bro.
Oh, yeah.
About the shit going down.
Why do you think fucking Putin is always smiling, dude? That guy has always got a little smile. Whenever it's always creepy little
They're
smile.
not that clumzy, bro. They're pretty fucking patient and precise.
I guess they're super smart. Yeah, I guess I literally was about to say, I was like, remember when I said I'd rather fight that Russian guy? I think I take 2 Asian guys over 1 Russian guy. Because he's not even going to fight me. He's just going to wait till I'm 40 and my brain's going to fucking explode with misinformation.
Isn't that crazy to watch? I mean, what do we do with that though? Because that's clearly what's going down.
Well,
it's like, we just go to work tomorrow now.
Well, it's
what do we do?
It's funny
Me and you can't go out to dinner in the city.
We can't go.
We can't go out to dinner in the city. Me and you, we can't go out. What do we do? I keep saying it's gonna change, but fuck if I know.
I've been joking about like leaving America for a bit.
Where are you gonna go?
It's what I'm saying. There's
you got
not many
nowhere to
better
go,
places.
man.
Italy's fucked. I was like, oh,
Italy's
fucked right now. I don't know. We got to find a fake, like a fucking island. We need money though.
3,
we got none of
2,
that.
1. Epstein Island.
Nobody's there anymore. Wait, speaking of Epstein Island, that was what I kind of wanted to bring up next, really badly. I want to get a little bit conspiratorial.
Okay.
Ready? I'm gonna put out a timeline for you guys. Frankie, you're gonna fucking enjoy this too. So, 20 years ago, about was when Alex Jones started talking about Epstein and eugenics and like globalism and all that shit when he started hearing about Epstein having this world plan, right? So that was about 20 years ago. August of 2012, Bill Gates starts talking about population control in third world nations. I did research to put this timeline together, by the way. I did it today. I had a really good time. Actually, I did last night. I had a really good time doing it. August 2012, Bill Gates starts talking about population control in third world nations being an issue because you can't feed or educate. Like, the whole goal was to vaccinate people to keep them healthy so that they're motivated to, like, they can be sure that their kids would survive so they don't have to have like 20 kids. It was
that
a whole
thing,
survival
even
thing.
when you were saying that, it still confuses me.
Right. So the whole idea is basically in third world nations, people have a lot of children because they don't know for sure, like, their kid may get picked up by a fucking hyena or, like, will die of malaria or will die of some other disease. Like, they don't know how many of their kids will survive, so they have as many as possible. They just pop them out as they come, which is leading to a population issue.
If you gave them a vaccine, though, it would guarantee that they would not get eaten by a...
Well, the hyena was... I threw that one in there.
So, yeah. Okay.
No, the hyenas aren't a factor.
Right,
Maybe
okay.
less of a factor.
Right, okay.
But the diseases,
sure.
You fucking dick. So
that makes more sense.
That's how that works for population control, right? Then February 2017, Fauci gives commencement speech at Georgetown stating there will be a surprise outbreak in this next administration within the next 3 years. There will be a surprise pandemic. A surprise
Who said
pandemic.
that? Bill Gates?
Fauci said
Fauci
that
did.
in the commencement speech at Georgetown.
I played that clip here.
Yeah, I've seen that.
We played that
I was going to
before.
say Bill Gates did it too?
No. Well, probably.
Fauci did say that. I've seen it
Fauci
before.
said that in 2017.
Right.
Which is crazy, again, to think about. That you could use the word surprise attack and say when it's going to happen. In the span of 3 years, this
Are you ready?
coronavirus hasn't happened since... Nothing's been this bad since fucking flu.
Yeah, the actual flu, which is still
just
around.
Picked the fucking 3-year period? Fuck you.
Wait. That was February of 2017. Exactly, almost to the day, 3 years later, January 7th, almost exactly 3 years later, was the first case of, like, we first hear about COVID, confirmed it's coronavirus in Wuhan. That was the first case. January 22nd, the pandemic documentary on Netflix comes out. 3 weeks later, not even 2 weeks later after that. The end of January / beginning of February.
You really did make a timeline.
Oh, yeah, baby. The end of January, beginning of February, first U.S. COVID case. So it finally hits the U.S., and we found community spread about a week and a half later. This, and then that was the end of the timeline so far. Now we're here where we are.
Right.
So let's get a little
2021,
conspiratorial.
a lot of stuff happening.
Right, a lot of stuff happening. So let's get conspiratorial, guys. What do we got?
What do we got? You just gave so much. You don't want to dive into something specifically?
I want to dive into all.
second Frankie's
I want
list.
to dive into all of it because there's the Bill Gates shit. There's so much Bill Gates around lately because there's like a sexual thing about him lately. So I just been seeing his name around.
Well, the Bill Gates thing that I just saw, I just watched this. Frankie, got to send you this video. I just watched a communications coach who's like a professor of communications just like break down the body language of Bill Gates when he was doing that interview. And the lady was just like, real quick side question. And she like bumped him on Jeffrey Epstein and he's reading it, dude. And the guy's so fucking funny. He's like, yeah, like there's clearly a lot of like, he's very flustered and he's he's doing all the classic kind of tells. And he broke it down, dude. And he kept being like,
he was cracking up during it too.
Yeah,
he was. Like,
yeah. He was like, ooh, yeah, not good here. And he was saying there was one line where he just kept saying like, I just went out to dinner with him.
No, he just kept saying, I've said before, I regret those dinners.
Right.
It's like, that wasn't the question.
But it was,
all.
he said it like 7, it was like, he did this thing with like 7 words and 8 words. It was like, I regret this dinner. I really regret this dinner. And he was like, these are signs that someone has like talking points from like a person.
A lawyer.
Yeah. To like say certain things. Like he never answered the question. He just fucking
he doesn't want to say too much.
Yeah.
About banging children.
Right. Pretty fucking crazy. I feel like if you're, let's say, it's easier to conceptualize Bill Gates as like an evil piece of shit when you think of Bill Gates as Mark Zuckerberg. For some reason, you watched that one Netflix documentary about Bill Gates, which is where
I did,
and you
him.
loved
I was
him.
obsessed with him.
You were obsessed with him. So in your conspiratorial world,
wait,
it
I
worked.
forgot to add
It worked.
that because that was during coronavirus. That documentary came out. I watched it. Oh no, it was right before coronavirus. Was it during coronavirus? It was at my. When did the Bill Gates inside of Bill's brain?
We need to add it to the
Inside
timeline.
Bill's brain.
We need to.
So
you loved
so
it.
that's what I want to.
And I remember just being like, bro, why are you so in love with Bill Gates?
September of 2019, right before, like 5 months before, 4 months before coronavirus hit the fucking Wuhan.
Right.
So that's what I want to get conspiratorial about because there's a lot of conspiracies about Bill Gates. Like being involved with fucking eugenic with
Let me start with I'll give you my own fucking timeline.
Give me the timeline.
So Bill Gates, this is a timeline.
Wait, you have one on your phone?
I just got it up while you guys are talking. So I just want to give you a.
It's my background.
I just want to give you a timeline of his net worth. Okay. So
okay.
1990, his net worth was 2.5 billion, and that was when Microsoft released Windows 3.0. By the end of the year, nearly 2 million copies had shipped. 95 net worth. Okay, so that was 2.5 billion in 1990. We jumped to 95 net worth, 14.8 billion.
Okay.
Throughout the early 90s, Gates' fortune rose alongside Microsoft's share price. The company released Windows 95. Okay, so we're at 14.8 billion. It's hard to keep track with all these zeros. Trust me. 95, 14.8. 97, 39.8. Gates' net worth more than doubled from 96. He is now the richest man in the world and $19 billion richer than Warren Buffett. 99, 2 years later. Okay. Do you guys remember the last one? 39.8 billion was
yes,
the last
39.
one. Okay. 85 billion.
Ooh, another more
2
than
years
double.
later.
More than
Another
doubles.
double.
Yeah. His
on
increase from the
black?
previous year is more than 25 billion. That's roughly 3 million.
Billion with the B,
That's
too.
3 million per hour.
Fuck
okay.
me up.
So then 2000 comes.
That's how much per hour?
3 million an hour. Suck a dick, Bill
I would
Gates.
suck all the dicks for 3 million an hour. How's that for a dick?
All of them.
Everyone.
Okay, so it starts to fluctuate. 2000, it goes down to 63 billion. It was because of Microsoft, whatever. 2008, 8 years later, we're at 58 billion. 2008 marked the first time in 13 years that Gates was not the richest person. Okay,
no.
And then he probably said, "You know what? I got to do something.
Got to get my stats up."
2009,
That was what you just read. No, 2008.
2008. Okay, we lose another 10 billion.
I
Casual.
feel like you're losing steam here.
Yeah.
You're really losing steam. When does it get conspiratorial?
I'm just confused because I just realized it stops at 2014. This
2020, he gets divorced. It's just a real sad story, you know?
No, I just needed the one from
The most recent one?
God damn it. It stopped at 2014. I have to continue. But that it just
You fill in the blanks now with your thoughts.
I mean, he's now worth
basically,
132
once he started
billion.
to get into pharmaceuticals, his net worth
Skyrocketed.
went up times 6. Times 6
So,
from where we're at now.
right. And then to just while we're getting conspiratorial, Dylan just showed me this thing. He sent it to me on Twitter. It's every news network right before any segment. They just flash the Pfizer logo.
Can you play it? It's so ridiculous.
Rogan
So-
just posted it. It's not just them now. It's like 5 different networks.
It's every network. It's not even just CNN, Fox, and like it's
Play it. It's
all
so
of them.
funny.
It's all. It's
It's
I don't
also the
even know
first.
half of
It's
them.
always the first one right
First
after
one,
the thing.
and it's such a corny, like, shitty logo. It's like so old and just fucking. There it is. CBS in the morning. Anderson Cooper, bitch ass.
You need to do the
Nightline.
sound. Can you do the sound for it?
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer. CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer. This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored.
It's insane. So, back to the conspiracy.
Pfizer.
So there's conspiracy basically saying that it's all a cahoots thing. And I really, dude, I had moments where I was like, yeah, and then I had moments where I was like, come on, no, That like they can't. But like where like it's not that far fetched of a concept.
Right.
I wish it was more. I really wish it was more far fetched. Because like I'll watch a video of Bill Gates talking about the environment and all this shit, and I'll be like, nah, he seems like a good dude. And then I'll just do a little bit more reading, and I'll be like, but he's not, obviously.
When I'm telling you, when you think of him as, I think you see that Puff piece on Netflix, you're like, holy shit, he's a genius. Like, what an innovator. I love him. But in fucking 40 years from now, when Mark Zuckerberg is doing the same shit, like, you're not going to watch Mark Zuckerberg's thing and be like, this guy was the man. You're going to be like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit who exploited some really fucked up shit and, like, ruined a lot of people's lives.
Well, he's right now under fire for exploiting,
dude,
like,
everyone,
all the divisive shit that was posted on Facebook.
Cell phones 1, 2, and 3, man.
We were on to something which everybody else, by the way, was on to.
That was the first time I broke out of the Matrix. That's why I think it was such a melting experience for me.
Yeah, but then after that, you called me racist a bunch. So, like, you weren't even close to being out of the Matrix.
I was breaking out. It was a messy road, man.
Bloody road.
There's a lot. I'm like, Joe's a racist. I'm like, all right, we're through that one.
And I would go to sleep being like, I guess I'm a racist? Like, I literally was, like, discovering myself newly. I was like, I guess I don't love everybody like I thought I did. That's so weird. So, yeah, the Matrix took a while to get broken, but the Matrix is very much in play still because...
Oh, the Matrix is big time in play.
What?
Give me my guy.
Oh, I gave it to Dylan for a sec.
Yeah,
Did you not?
Your boy doesn't need the ski bop today.
This is dead.
So, yeah, it goes back to it all, dude. It always goes back to Epstein. It always goes back to Epstein.
So it goes back to Epstein because even before Alex Jones was talking about Bill Gates, the Bill Gates conspiracies and shit, and way before COVID, he was talking about Epstein and globalism and eugenics. And by the way, do you know what eugenics are? I just Googled them today. Googled it today.
Tell me.
It's basically like selecting like discontinuing unwanted genes. So like basically creating like almost like a master race type of a thing.
Like your color, your eye color, your baby, all that shit.
Right, exactly. Also some fishy, odd stuff. So I don't really know how that fits into fucking a vaccine. And I'm not, again, I'm YouTube people. I'm not saying the vaccine is like a fucking, is there for population
whatever you're
control.
saying.
But what I'm saying
going to help them.
It would help a little bit. It might help a little bit.
I will say this in terms of, and this isn't even conspiratorial, this is just facts, but it's honestly horrifying to talk about. Mm-hmm. Have you been keeping up with what's happening in Taiwan?
A little bit. It's
pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, it is.
So Taiwan is I want to say it's like its own country. And it's an independent democracy. I think that's fair to say. And I think it like 60 years ago, somehow they broke away from China, and they just like started living their own lives, and like they're a democracy. Mm-hmm. They are a democracy. They were with China. They broke away like 60 years ago, and now China's like knocking on the door and being like, yo, you're gonna be part of like China now. You're gonna be part of China. And they're like, nah, we're not gonna be part of China. I'm so stupid, but this is how I can best I can
do your best. You're doing great.
And I think that's been something that's been going on in Taiwan for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like the fear of it. Mm-hmm. It's been there. But it's like escalated to the point where like NBC News is talking about it. CNN is like everyone's talking about it. Mm-hmm. So I've been watching videos that literally have not been able to make me sleep. And I was up last night. I was like, I can't go to bed. I'm fucked up right now. I'm fucked up. I shouldn't have done it, but I was doing it.
It gets scary anytime China's taking action on things.
Well, China has flown a record number of aircrafts into Taiwanese airspace. Like they've never. That's why the tensions are rising so much, because they're talking more that they haven't said that they won't like do a hot war. They basically said They haven't said we won't attack.
Right.
So you know what I mean?
They haven't said
so. It's like people are fucking afraid right now in Taiwan.
It's Cold War.
Yeah, it's a Cold War. Exactly. But there's like tensions are like really escalating.
They're invading their airspace every day.
They're invading their airspace every day. And then did you also see that China has a hypersonic? They did a loop of the globe
with the hypersonic
space beam that could nuke anywhere on the planet whenever they want.
Yeah, love that for us.
And we didn't know, and United States intelligence was like caught off guard, and they didn't know they had that technology.
What does that say about what's going on?
What are our thoughts on Space Force now, motherfuckers?
My thoughts on Space Force is, yeah, we need it and we should fuck shit up.
Mike
I'm
Baker
scared.
on that CIA podcast, on the podcast with Joe Rogan, said there's a race to this technology, and I don't know for certain, but I think it's the same. I think he was like, yeah, because it was like 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And he was like, there's a race to get to this hypersonic technology, like blah, blah, blah. You know, we need this technology, whatever. And then like a week later, it was like, no, China has that technology. And they fucking flew around the globe.
Dude, that's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
And
pretty,
I had this,
and all those things are true facts.
yeah, those are facts.
Those are true facts.
And here's ready for some not facts at all. Here's some not facts at all. Me and Dylan were talking about that we were talking about the thing we were just going through, the Russia tape thing. Dylan was kind of telling me about that the other day, and I had this just like deep, like blind fear because like me and Dylan went to a private school and there was a ton of exchange students. And all of them were from China. They were all Chinese exchange students. I know. I can't believe I'm bringing this up.
I can't believe you're saying this.
I know. And I'm joking around, but like, I'm also scared. But no, I was like, dude, what if like the Chinese, what if that was them infiltrating like our culture? And then all of a sudden, like the switch is going to get flipped. And then it's just like, bah! They just start killing everybody. No, I love my Chinese friends. One of my closest friends in college was this kid, Gary. His name was D Mao Gary. He was a Chinese exchange student. And, he didn't speak very good English, and I was like his dog. Like I would bring him out and shit. Like I made him. I didn't make him do anything. I was with him when he smoked weed for the first time, and he coughed for like 2 hours. It was like hilarious. He's a great guy, and he ended up actually graduating Fordham, and I kept in touch with him after school, and he went back to China for a bit, and then he came back, and he was like, he called me one day. He's like, "Oh, I'm joining the army," and I was like, "Oh shit!" Well, now that I'm saying it, I'm bugging myself. No way. So he called me one day. He's like, "Yo, I'm joining the army. I would love if you would give me a recommendation because they need
the United States Army.
United States Army. No, the Chinese Army.
Well, I thought you said he went back home.
Then he came back because his visa expired and he had to get a new one.
Okay.
So he came back and he was like, "Yeah, I'm joining the army. I'd love if you gave me a recommendation. They're gonna contact you." I was like, "Sure." Totally forget about it. Months later, maybe even a year later, I get a call from like no caller ID. I don't answer it. I get another call, no caller ID. I don't answer it. I get a third call, no caller ID. I answer it. She's like, "This is somebody from the FBI, whatever her name was, Susan or what. I don't even know if she gave me her real name.
Susan from the FBI.
Someone from the FBI.
Yeah, I bet that's what she said. Hey, what's up, Joey? It's Susan from the FBI.
Yeah, she calls me and she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna need to interview you about D." It's like, okay. She shows up to my office. The FBI lady comes to my office. We get in the conference room, and she interviews me about my good friend Gary for fucking like 20, 30 minutes. And I was like, he's a great guy. He's the best. I had to like talk him up. I was like, he's such a good guy. Loves America. So it was wild. I like got interviewed for some kid.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's Chinese boy.
I can't
now
believe she
I feel
came
like
to
I'm
the-
an enemy of the state. Like I don't even know what's going on. I don't know if he's listening. I'm scared now. D, remember, we smoked weed together. It was good times. No, he was my dog.
I did have I told you this story too. There was a kid at work that had a very, like, we have aides that come through the office, and aides are usually anywhere between like 18 and like 23, and like they're kind of just like, you know what I mean? It's like they're just looking for a job. You know what I mean? Some are interested in becoming physical therapists. Some just like are looking for a fucking job.
Right.
So
By the way, really quick, Mike Crispy's watching. He just hit me up, said sick timeline. What up, Crispy? Just had to give a shout out.
And me and this kid had like a very funny. I thought he was hilarious. Me and this kid had a very funny banter. We would always crack jokes, like it was a good banter. Everyone in the office thought he was super weird, but I was like, guys, these are trying times. Like, we need all the help we can get. We go through AIDS like one every fucking 3 weeks and they quit. Like, just be nice to them because we need these people. So I'm fucking friendly with this guy, whatever. And we were talking about him one day. I was like, no, I think he's great. He's funny, but he does do this weird thing where he hits on me sometimes. And someone was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, well, like sometimes in the morning, like I'll walk down, he'll be like working or something and be like, hey man, it's like good to see you. And I'd be like, yeah, good to see you too, man. He's like, no, it's like really good to see you. And I'll just be like
longing look.
I would be like, all right, man, you're the man, dude. See you later. Like, don't quit. We fucking need you, man.
Yeah, you're weird, but
and
cool.
he would kind of hit it. He would do shit like that. And he'd be like, it's just so good to see you. Like you're, you know.
But it was like funny.
It was funny. Like we were fucking goofing around.
Right.
But everyone else was like, dude, you can't say shit like that. I'm like, it's fucking fine. Like whatever. So he's leaving, and he asked me to write him a letter of recommendation. How about that? We love Asian people.
Whoa, hey, he's Chinese.
I said Asian.
I know, I'm being a dick. No, of course we do.
And I also,
I said I wouldn't want to fight one.
Right. And I forgot what I was fucking saying. Oh, he goes, dude, you're the man. Like, I just want to, and I was like, of course, I'll write you. You put in your time here. I'm like, I will write you a letter of recommendation. He's like, dude, you are the man. When China comes and takes over, I'll tell him that you're one of the good guys. That was like the last thing he said to me. I'm like, that's a really good joke.
It's a good send-off joke.
It's a great send-off
See,
joke.
Gary didn't give me that. Gary didn't give me any of that, but I feel like I felt that.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I also didn't know about the threat of the Chinese takeover when I was friends with Gary.
Right.
I wish I did. I would have.
I didn't know about it when that kid said it to me. I was just like, all right, cool, man.
Right. Oh, wow, that's new.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
it's a great
How
joke.
did your work respond to that joke? Did they tell them about the China
No,
joke?
because they were all really upset. They were all very upset about this kid because apparently he was kind of creepy towards some of the ladies. I imagine he
was
took the
creepy
same
towards you, too.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. He's just being creepy towards everyone.
Maybe
It's
he's just
fine.
got an interesting personality.
Yeah,
Some people are just odd. Some people don't necessarily jive socially.
Especially
the
it was
same way
during
you
COVID.
do.
People are coming, like talking to people for the first time. It's like their first job in a minute. Give them a sec. He
Right.
probably shouldn't tell everyone that they're hot and then it's good to see them. That's not the best strategy, but it's not the worst strategy.
It's not the worst strategy. I could think of tons.
I could think of
worse
way
strategies.
more worse shit.
Oh my god,
He was just
tons.
being friendly.
I could think of tons of worse
But you know,
strategies.
if you're saying apparently he like said some weird shit to some of the students, and then when the students get told weird shit, it's bad because like then they go back to the school and they're like, that place they had people telling me weird shit, and then those liberal schools, you know, guy.
Yeah, I know all about the liberal
You know.
schools. Fordham. How you doing? I mean, do we think maybe people were just a little sensitive post like mid COVID?
That's what I felt.
You know, like your
because
social.
I stood up for him,
Right.
and then I told him I was like. I asked my boss, I was like, yo, do you have like a, because honestly, the kid was nice. I don't even remember his name. And I had to write him a letter of recommendation. That's a lot of work. I don't got a lot of time. Right. He was okay at what he was doing. He wasn't he wasn't a stand-up. So he deserved, I gave him, there's ratings where you just click a button. I gave him full stars, but the letter of rec was generic. You know what I mean? But he got what he deserved. He got what he deserved.
And this is no insult to you, except it's exactly what it is. I don't see you being the guy who's going to pour a ton of effort into writing anybody a good letter of recommendation.
This is true.
Like, you remember in high school?
I wrote someone one that was the
teachers-
generic one, and it was, she got in, so I was pumped.
Right. Well, see, there you go. So, like, remember in high school, there were those teachers where you really had to, like, suck their dick
Yeah,
to get it.
Mr. O'Neill. He's
Mr.
like,
O'Neill
"I only
gave me
do 10
one.
of 'em."
Right. He would do 10 a year. You seem like the guy who's like, I'll do it if you ask, but, like, you're getting the
And you know that from my person. You know that going in.
Yeah.
You know that I'm not going to go head over heels for you.
Right. He only asked you because you were a safe
time.
space.
I was, yeah, exactly.
You were a safe space. Right?
So I told my boss, I was like, yo, we got like a generic template that I could just like plug this kid's name into. He was like, the kid who was hitting on you? And I was like, dude, he wasn't. He's like, dude, that kid was hitting on you. I was like, do you have a template, man? I'm doing it already.
And that's when your boss follows up with like, you should at least give me the respect of writing something from the heart. The man put it all out there. Like
he did.
He hit on you and you fucking baselined him. I mean,
you got to put them in their place.
Interns?
My hose.
Okay. You and your hose are going to do just fine. Oh, man. Should we wrap up?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like we started to fall off there a little bit morally. It felt good on the inside. Once it came out, it felt worse. I'll say it that way. All right. We love y'all.
Love y'all. Have a great week.
And, live life to the fullest because, like, we really don't know if we'll wake up tomorrow, honestly, after what we just talked about.
Right.
I'm going to have a good time tonight. I'm getting McDonald's tonight.
We're getting halal. I'm getting lamb and chicken.
I'm getting lamb and chicken, too. It's a lamb and chicken kind of a live your life kind of a night.
It's a lamb and chicken kind of.
I might even have a
your
beer.
Life. It's still 2021. A lot of stuff happening.
A lot of stuff happening.
A lot of stuff.
End this year already. Goodbye. Peace.